Man, once I go in there, it's all balls to the wall, bro. I mean, I feel the shots, and I know they're gonna hurt, and I know he could take me out if it's possible if he came with the wrong one. But for me, man, I'm game. I go to the end. When I put these on, it's a wrap. Take me on the stretcher, you know.
So, but of course, I'm still in tip-top condition, and he's a lot older now. Even when we was younger, that would have been a great matchup.
Junior's mistake lied in the reliance to counter game. Instead of counting on a quick knockout, he let Calzaghe catch a rhythm and turn the tide.
Jones with punch count from here.
It all began with what seemed like a casual offer. Roy Jones Jr., fresh from discussing his recent exhibition matches, casually mentioned that he'd be open to fighting Floyd Mayweather, but only if it made sense. There was no trash talk or dramatic call-out, just a calm, respectful comment. But when someone like Roy Jones Jr., one of boxing's most exciting legends, speaks, even a laid-back comment lands like a challenge. At first, Mayweather responded in typical fashion, keeping it all about business. He praised Roy as a legend and threw in his usual line, "If the numbers make sense." That could have been the end of it. But Roy didn't let it stop there. In later interviews, he hinted that modern boxing had become safe, a not-so-subtle jab at Floyd's carefully controlled exhibition fights. Suddenly, the mood shifted. Fans started analyzing every interview, debating if Floyd was brushing Roy off or avoiding a real challenge. Roy fired back, insisting it wasn't about money. It was about pride. Two icons with two very different mindsets. And for the first time in a long while, they weren't letting promoters do the talking. They were throwing verbal jabs, and the boxing world took notice now. It's no longer just about whether they'll fight. It's about whether this unexpected exchange has cracked open the door for a dream exhibition match no one saw coming. The conversation.
I speak my opinion, and if somebody was trying to send me a subliminal message, it worked, because if you want to prove that you're better than me, I'm always ready, wide open, ready to go. It's called.
The conversation didn't start with big headlines. It started quietly. During a post-fight press event, Roy Jones Jr. was asked about his future after his well-received exhibition with Mike Tyson. His response was measured and humble. He was open to whatever made sense for the fans. And yes, Floyd Mayweather's name was on that list. There were no wild promises, just Roy being his straightforward self, saying he'd share the ring with another legend if it gave people a memory worth keeping. That alone sparked attention, not because of what he said, but because of who said it. Roy isn't some influencer or a washed-up fighter looking for a payday. Even at 55, he still carries an aura of greatness. His highlight reels, his lightning-fast reflexes, and his ability to make elite athletes look average. All of that still gives weight to anything he says. And this time, he said Floyd's name. Floyd Mayweather, the undefeated king of defensive boxing and the man who turned exhibitions into a high-end business. What made Roy's words stand out was the way he said them. He didn't talk about money. He talked about legacy, authenticity, and giving fans a real show. That struck a nerve in a sport where many feel Floyd's recent exhibitions have been too choreographed. Instantly, social media lit up. Fans clipped Roy's interview, created their own posters, and started asking a big question. Would Floyd finally fight someone who could truly test him, even in an exhibition? While Roy's tone was respectful, it was clearly meant to spark something. He knows Floyd controls everything: rounds, pace, rules, and by offering to fight, Roy was testing whether Floyd's exhibitions were truly for the fans or just for Floyd. Floyd didn't reply immediately. Instead, he dropped a video on Instagram showing Roy's knockout losses, silent, with no caption for some. It was Floyd dismissing Roy without a word. For others, it looked like Floyd dodging the challenge. But silence doesn't last forever. And when Floyd speaks, it's always calculated. Floyd
career, he's really been hurt. He's gone down before one time, but there was a perfect left hand. Lloyd never saw it coming. Lloyd is out.
Mayweather didn't react to Roy Jones Jr.'s offer like most fighters would. No flashy Instagram response, no live rant, no press conference fireworks. Instead, he stuck to what he always does: controlled, calm business talk. While promoting one of his TMT events, Floyd was asked directly about Roy's comments. His answer? Classic Mayweather. Respectful, vague, and full of strategy. He called Roy a legend, praised his accomplishments, and said he had nothing but respect. But when it came to the actual fight, Floyd simply repeated his famous line, "If the business makes sense," to a casual fan. It might seem like an open door, but boxing fans knew what that really meant. That phrase has become Mayweather's go-to filter for selecting fights. From his pro career to his exhibitions, it means, I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no. Let's see what the numbers say for supporters. It's smart business. Why risk your legacy for a fight that doesn't pay? But to critics, it felt like a polite sidestep. What really caught attention, though, wasn't what Floyd said. It was what he didn't. He didn't outright reject Roy. That's not typical for Floyd, who often brushes off suggestions that don't align with his carefully managed image. But here, he left just enough room to keep fans talking. That's how Floyd works. Every pause, every word is part of a plan. By not shutting the door, he lets the buzz build without doing any of the work himself. But here's the twist. If Floyd wants total control, short rounds, no winner, no judging, Roy Jones Jr. might not go for it. And that's where the friction starts. Roy Jones Jr. didn't wait long to respond. He stayed respectful, but the message under his words was loud and clear.
Is there something that you want to elaborate on, or is there something that maybe you don't like about Floyd?
One thing I don't like is that you don't respect elders. You talk about Muhammad Ali got beat by an 8-0 fighter. That 8-0 fighter was an Olympian who was a monster, who, if you had a monster like that in your weight class, you wouldn't fight him at that time. You understand where I'm coming from?
At a local boxing event, Roy called Floyd one of the sport's smartest businessmen, but then added something that felt like a subtle dare. If they were to share a ring, Roy said, it should be a real fight, not a safe, no-risk exhibition. That one comment changed everything. Roy wasn't throwing accusations or demanding anything, but he made it clear he wasn't interested in another one of Floyd's controlled, low-contact matchups. Roy's always been a fighter first, businessman second, and this reminded everyone of that. He pointed to his 2020 fight with Mike Tyson. That was an exhibition too, but it was real, competitive. Fans could feel it. Both men landed solid shots. They moved like they cared about the outcome. To Roy, that's what makes it worth stepping into the ring. Even without official judges or a declared winner, the contrast between the two fighters couldn't be more obvious. Floyd wants control over the money, the rules, even the fights. Tempo. Roy still wants the thrill, the challenge, the realness. And while he didn't call Floyd out in a loud way, the message was strong. If this fight's going to happen, Floyd can't control everything. That's what makes this situation different. Most opponents are happy just to say they fought Floyd, even under his rules. But Roy isn't just another name. He's proud, he's competitive, and he's still got something to prove. Fans caught on immediately. Social media blew up again. People started saying Roy had just called Floyd out in the classiest way possible. Then came the line that sent the internet into overdrive. Just call me.
Meeting with Roy Jones tonight for the WBC Continental Americas title. Jones is versatile. Oh, and there's a tremendous. Oh, and then that's Floyd says fine. They go for the embrace. Referee Joe Cortez is not there. Boom. Left hook, right hand. Right hand.
What's up, Fight Hype? I'm here with my boy Jeff Mayweather, looking good and healthy. How you feeling, Jeff?
I'm all right.
Everything good? Man, Roy Jones wants to fight Floyd, man. What's going on with Roy?
I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, I mean, you have fighters where when you have great fighters and when great fighters start talking about one another, I mean, then egos become.
What's going on with him and Floyd? Have you seen the back and forth? They're talking about facing each other. It all started with Andre Ward, you know, comparing their careers. What do you think about who is a better fighter in their prime, Roy Jones or Floyd Mayweather?
Man, you put me on the spot.
No, hey, you fought him.
And you know what? I mean, I have to be honest, bro. You know, I don't know. It's everybody's.
Either Roy Jones or Floyd Mayweather Jr. The prime of Roy Jones? The prime Roy Jones or Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Roy Jones. You know Roy Jones, right?
Yes.
Hard enough to promote a fight without making it personal. But there's still a problem. Floyd usually only fights people who pose little danger. Roy isn't one of those people, even now. He's fast, unpredictable, and a threat, especially in a looser exhibition format. For Floyd to agree, The rules would have to favor him. Short rounds, no judges, no knockouts. Would Roy accept that? It's not clear. For now, no one has confirmed any official talks. But both men are winning from the attention. Roy is back in the spotlight. Floyd's back in control of the conversation. And if this momentum lasts a few more months, especially if a pay-per-view company gets involved, we just might see this fantasy fight happen by the end of 2025.